Anyway, so let me start over since you guys didn't hear the beginning part of that. My name is Harlequin Murray. I am a team leader here with David Allen Capital, just like you guys are. And I have the distinct honor and pleasure of introducing our host of the evening and our senior team leader, Miss Ellen Nguyen. She happens to be sitting right next to me tonight, which is a change that's never happened in the, year and a half almost that we've been doing this.
Yeah.
So anyways, we have a lot of new people here today. So I'm going to go, and for those of you who don't know who Ellen is and what her background is, I'm going to go over that a little bit. She grew up here in the Atlanta area in a farm in Dallas, Georgia, and she spent over 25 years in the restaurant industry. The last 8.5 years of that were in corporate with upper management in Domino's Pizza. She was a training director and a senior operations director for the state of Georgia. In 1997, she left Domino's and started her own restaurant. And she's been a business owner ever since then. But she was introduced to network marketing in 2002. And over the years, she's built massive teams and helped tens of thousands of people along the way. When I met her in 2005, she was the national training director for a network marketing company, and she was a partner in a huge training center here in Atlanta. So it's obvious that Ellen loves training and helping people. But Ellen is an area director with DAC and a one-star executive in our residual pay plan with longevity, and she's helped our team be one of the fastest growing and largest producing teams in DAC. So without further ado, let me go ahead and introduce Miss Ellen Nguyen, and I've got to go and turn off my microphone so we don't get the reverb.
Excellent, excellent. That worked great. Yes, and this is quite a treat getting to sit next to you tonight, Harlequin, as you always co-host for me, and tonight I happen to be out in Atlanta with some clients and kind of pushing the envelope on time rather than doing this without camera on from the back seat of my car like I have in the past. I was not far away from Harlequin, so I said, hey, how about I come there and do the Zoom? And she's like, oh, that'd be awesome. So we're doing a first run at this together, and this is pretty cool. It's like we've got our like we're announcers almost as we're sitting here side by side waiting to go play by play. I love it. All right, so yeah, if you've not been on our Zooms before, I do this every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern time as a format for you guys to hear from me, hear who our top performers are in the team, hear some latest updates, something motivational, and have Q&A session after we finish. So I always like to start with our top performers. So I'm going to get us into screen share mode here and pull up my slides. We'll see. There we go. Looking good there. Now get us into presentation mode so you can see a little bit better. See full screen. Is that coming up? There we go. Are you seeing it on your screen?
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
But we're having some reverb issues. It sounds like.
Just mute your mic.
I've got it muted.
If you mute the mic, then they're only hearing. Okay. Yep. Okay, good deal. All right, so top performers, the beauty of being live, right? You gotta make instant calls as you go. All right, so top performers with team recognition, we have our top recruiters, and in first place, again, Katina Willis. Those of you that were on live or watched the replay last week, you got to hear from Katina. She's been on our #1 spot on recruiting here for several weeks in a row, had as many as 700 new agents in one single week. Last week, she said, hey, I'm being a little bit more picky, and I'm telling people, are you sure that you're ready for this? rather than just signing up without knowing what they're getting into. In some cases where people were just excited from her video and ready to join, she's getting them to go through a little bit more process now before they fill out the form. But Katina, congratulations again. First place with 55 new agent recruits for the week of January the 20th through January the 26th. In second place, we had Ciara Peterson with 21 new recruits. Ciara's name is highlighted in green because this was her first run at recruiting her first new agent, but not only one new agent, she had 21 for the week. So congratulations, Ciara. Eric Johnson came in third place with 15 new recruits. Julius Jones in fourth place with 12 new recruits. Congratulations, Eric and Julius. Those are great numbers. L. Smith came in fifth place with 9 new recruits. Congratulations, L. I came in sixth place with 8 new recruits. Eugene Clapp in seventh place with 6 new recruits. Congratulations, Eugene. Cheryl Henderson and Celeste Peterson each had 4 new agent recruits for tying for 8th place. In 9th, we had a multi-way tie with Michael Beecroft. His first agent recruit, total of 3 for the week. Chris Hill had 3. Cindy Johnson had 3. Jason McConnell, Jason's first run at recruiting with a total of 3 for the week. John Nevada, Chris Spartalis, and Stephen Witherspoon each tied for 9th place with 3 new recruits each. Congratulations to you guys. In 10th place, we have a multi-way tie as well with Marcia Clapp, Cynthia Darden, Beatrice Fields. This was Beatrice's first run, as well as Erica Holmes' first run at recruiting, but ended up each with 2 recruits for the week. Clive Hughes had 2. John Nevada, seems like I've announced John with 3. Maybe I miscounted and missed one of those for John. I think he had 3. Velma White had 2. First agent recruit and ended up with 2. And then Ryan Zorn had 2 for the week. So congratulations to you guys on the left side of the leaderboard. And on the right side, everyone that had 1 new agent recruit, a lot of people in green here, all of those in green. This was the first time they'd recruited an agent, and I love seeing that. The more new agents that we see, they're doing their first time recruit and more, is really a good sign for the growth of the team. That means that people are getting started and they're excited and going ahead and sharing about the opportunity with DAC because they have the faith that DAC is a good opportunity. So good to see that. I'm not going to say first time recruit for each of these, but if your name is in green or the name is in green, then you'll see that was the first time getting an agent started. So Andrea Adams, Joseph Ayers, Lushonda Barnum, Kiki Biofsky, Ross Boxell, Kelly Burris, Lizzie Cardenas, Brittany Chapman, Kathy Colbert, Wanda Combs, Sean Dreffs, Michael Edmondson, Peggy Evans, JC Evans, Janelle Harris, Christina Howard, Denitra Jackson, Tara Jarrett, Audra Johnson, Joyce Licorice, Carlos Mendez, Arthur Perez, Demetria Reed McNeil, Marcus Sparks, Daniel Stouffer, Cornedria Taylor, Shatara Travis, Victoria Willis, Tyra Wingo, and Marvin Yearwood all had 1 new agent recruit. So congratulations to all of you that made it to the leaderboard. And if your name's not on the leaderboard this week and you've been talking to people about the agent opportunity, congratulations to you for getting started and getting out of the starting gate, okay, and not being a secret agent. It's just a matter of time before your name too will be on the leaderboard if you keep having those conversations. Now, we started a couple of weeks ago talking about how we were going to do testimonials. So this week I talked to a couple of people and I was honestly running short of time to reach out to some folks that I wanted to talk to about doing a testimonial for the week on having a funded deal. So Harlequin and I were talking earlier, and I'm going to have her share a testimonial that was shared today. And again, it started last week, and then they talked about it again today on a process that is working on our preferred client plan. So Harlequin, I'm going to let you share that as we've got the screen pulled up with what the preferred client plan is.
Okay, let's see if we can get my speaker working with that or my.
Yeah, and I muted mine. So
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Can everybody hear me okay? If I can get a thumbs up from somebody. Actually, Eugene, can you hear me okay? All right, good. Thank you. All right, so there was somebody who is under the preferred client plan, which is a phenomenal plan for people that are in the preferred industries and have the higher credit and higher income. And they actually were offered or given an offer of $600,000, which is phenomenal. That's the maximum that they can get on this particular program. But with that, it's going to be their payback amount is going to be 1.28 times the amount that they're borrowing over 18 months, which that means that if you do it on an annual basis, it's 18.6%, which is phenomenal in this industry. There's also no closing fees, which is unheard of. And they decided to go and take $150,000 now. And then they've already been pre-approved to go ahead and take another $150,000 next month without having to send their new bank statements or filling out anything else. So that is just a phenomenal offer for a client. And for the agent who got that, that's going to be that paycheck is going to be really, really nice. I know it is. I don't know who it is that got that particular deal, but anyways, if you happen to know anybody that is in these preferred industries, and just a little bit about the preferred client plan, it's designed for anybody who is in construction, and that's all types of construction. Also landscaping, contractors, which includes electrical, plumbing, that type of thing. Any retail industries, jewelry, clothing, specialty items, any e-commerce businesses that medical, accounting. Now, not the seasonal, the H&R blocks that are only open during tax season or whatever, but anybody who's a year-round accounting, manufacturing, wholesale, which those are the biggest industries that we have. I think the only one that's not in there that's one of our bigger industries is trucking. But anyways, a lot of them wouldn't qualify for some other things. But they get the higher approval amounts. It's 1 to 2 times monthly sales. It's 9 to 18 months. There's no collateral, no application fee, no origination fees. People, that's like 4 to 5% typically that they get charged for that they're saving that amount of money. The other thing is it's same or next day funding, which is phenomenal. But they do have to have a little bit higher qualifications. They've got to have $35,000 per month, every month for the last 3 months. They've got to be in business for 18 months or more. And they have to have a 600 FICO score or higher. So it's a little bit higher qualifications, but the benefits are just phenomenal. And the rates that they're getting is unheard of. So anyways, back to you, Miss Ellen.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Thanks for covering all that. And that's exciting that we're starting to see more and more clients that are qualifying for this. So just for your knowledge as an agent, you don't have to know all of these details. The main thing is focus on those preferred industries. If you're focusing on those preferred industries, those happen to be our top industries in our general funding process overall. So if you're focusing on those industries as a niche, chances are you'll have someone that'll pop through that would be qualified for this. Our internal team does all the pre-qualification. They look at every client that comes through, and if they meet the revenue requirement and time and business requirement for this, they're automatically starting to move them towards that preferred client program. So you don't have to sift and sort, just be aware of it, and you can use this. We've got 2 different flyers, one with a male image and one with a female image, that's in the Agent Resource Center. I don't know, has David updated the dates on that? It was posted that it was a 4th quarter promotion. We need to look at that, and I'll ask him to change it if he has not changed the
I
flyer.
don't think it's on the flyer.
Okay, it doesn't have a date on it.
Yeah, I think it was just a notification to us.
Okay,
It had the date, but it's good through the end of this month, and it's probably going to be ongoing.
yeah, hopefully it will be. And we've got more funding companies that are wanting to get on board with this preferred client plan. So those are the top performers and a testimonial for you. I have 2 topics tonight. I'm going to touch on new tools again, and then I want to talk to you about perspective. Okay, so let's go over and look at the tool. I keep reiterating this because so many people aren't aware that this is out there. I had asked David to update the date on this. I don't know if he did that today. He referenced watching a video that I sent him this morning on the agent update or the leadership call. And that's what it was. I was showing him a video of what I was seeing and pointing out the date that I wanted changed, along with a couple of other updates that I was requesting. But the resource center is, if you don't know how to get there yet, if you're new, you can go to davidallencapital.com, scroll to the bottom of the page, and there is a link to resources. And one of those is the Agent Resource Center. So you just click on that link. It's going to bring you here to the Agent Resource Center. First and foremost, the training that you should be going through. New agents, it's easy to get off on YouTube channel or find a Vimeo, or there's so many different training videos about DAC. Understand the videos that are required for you to go through are here at the top of the Resource Center. Video number 1 is getting started right. Video number 2 is our basic funding process and distinguishing between our Bank Breezy and our DAC funding product. And then video 3 is a 3-part series showing you the compensation plan breakdown. And there's also a chart there under the video under number 3 that you can print out and follow along with David when he's explaining the compensation plan. Okay, but video 2 and the chart that you need to print to go along, it coincides with the business funding and Bank Breezy, is right here under number 1, where I have the arrow pointing, business capital quick reference sheet. If you'll print that out, it's an updated document. It's 2 pages. It gives you the requirements for each funding product. It tells you what the payback cost of the funding is. And then it goes through on the second page, it tells you what the notification process is. So you'll understand when you should be getting notifications from DAC about your client. One of the most frequently asked questions I get is, where do I log in to see what's going on with my client? Well, we don't have a dashboard right now. It's the communication process, and it's covered in much detail on page 2 of that document. Okay, so make a note to go print that out, and you will have the best reference tool that you can have. Okay, I'm going to stop share. I don't have any more slides there for you, but as I said, I want to talk to you about perspective. And I was reading through, I have different people that I follow every week, and I have newsletters that come in, and this email came across my desk this morning, and it really made me think. And it is a topic that is effective. Your perspective is affecting your business, whether it's doing well or whether it's not doing well. Okay, so think about your perspective on DAC as a whole. I had a young lady emailed me a few days ago, and she said, you know, building this business with the network marketing model just doesn't work for me. And she was telling me that she was moving on and wasn't going to be working DAC anymore. I hate to see someone have that perspective on what we're doing. And yes, I do need to plug up here. Give me a second. If I get plugged in here, I'll let you find the outlet, Harlequin. Give me a minute. Yep. 1 second. All right. We'll have power going. So with that email, the perspective was that the network marketing model that David Ruts chose for DAC was not a productive method of marketing for her, right? But in my mind, when I see that it is a network marketing distribution model, I'm like, yes, I love it, because I have a different perspective on it than the young lady that was deciding to move on. Why do I like the model that we have? I believe it's because it's fair. Okay. It is a fair model because it pays people who produce and it doesn't pay people who don't produce. If you're working and building the business, you can earn significant money. If you're not bringing customers to the table, then you're not going to make money. You're not going to make money off of other people's efforts either if you're not getting clients yourself. So those of you that are recruiting large numbers of people, that is great, as long as you are also bringing clients to the table. Because if you're just recruiting, and not bringing clients on board, you're only going to get paid on those people your first 60 days. After you've been here for 60 days, you go into this stage of not being qualified to earn on your team. You have to be either amped up, which is double commissions every 30 days, or you have to be engaged, which you're automatically engaged your first 60 days. But after that, you have to have funding clients to be considered engaged. Okay. So to me, the business model that we've chosen, and that's really all it is. When we look at this as a network marketing business model, it's just a distribution model. Okay. It's a means of getting products and services into the community and the method that they are delivered, right? Instead of us paying a lot of ads for the company and the company be the only one that's generating income, David brought this model to us, which gives us the ability to earn by being part of that distribution team, and we get rewarded really well. So that's my perspective versus someone else's perspective on the business model. And I know from my experience, as Harlequin shared with my introduction, my experience in the industry and having earned a lot of money in the industry, I know where DAC is going. I know with the money that is available now for agents who are bringing on clients of their own, which is the bulk of your money in the beginning is what you're earning on your own clients. But then as your teams grow and you start developing teams and they start growing and they start building a large client base on their own, then your ability to earn overrides and that, as David calls it, a large portfolio for your retirement income is there. So this model is unique in the funding space, but my perspective is that it's a great model of distribution, because if you only want to get paid on what you do, you can earn all the way up to 7.8% of your own fundings without ever having to build a team. But if you do decide to build a team, you can earn up to a 50% match ongoing and 100% match on the first funding of the new agent that you bring to the table, and up to 9% on your personal fundings with our model. So it's very fair. But back to the word perspective and thinking about how you look at this business. If you're not promoting either the agent opportunity, maybe part of it is that you're afraid that someone is going to say, oh, it's one of those network marketing models, right? So think about what I just said about it being a fair model versus not fair. And the best part of it is that we don't have any fees whatsoever. So I think a lot of times when people are not willing to talk about our agent opportunity, or they're not willing to talk about our services, is that they have this mindset that they're being bothersome to the person that they're supposed to be reaching out to, right? So think of this: if you've got friends or family members or business associates or acquaintances that you could be talking to about our agent opportunity, but you're not, what's holding you back? Those people, you don't know what's going on in their life in most cases, because if you look at Facebook, everybody's life is rosy, right? Everybody's got this wonderful life going on. All the pictures they post, their life is just grand. Well, we all know that for the most part, that's a big facade for the average person. They pick and choose the pictures and the timing and the locations that they post pictures, and we're not seeing the real story. So those folks that it looks like their life is grand, they might be the one that's just begging for an opportunity to come along, right? You don't know that someone is struggling to pay their mortgage. They live in a big, beautiful home, and you think that they've got it made, but they may just be scraping by, or they may be driving a luxury car, but they may just be scraping by. So don't look at someone's circumstances and think, oh, well, they wouldn't want to do this, or they wouldn't need to do David Allen Capital. They might be the very one that is looking for an opportunity of this size to come along before them. So don't be a secret agent when it comes to marketing. Have the perspective that this is a tremendous opportunity. And I feel like if you're not sharing the opportunity with people, you're really holding something of great value back from them. So if you have people that you know, like, and would love to be in business with, share the opportunity. And if you share it in the method that I always teach, which is ask them if they're open to making money outside of what they're currently doing. If you ask that question and they say yes, then present 3 points to them. It gives them an out. It's not selling, and it's not a pressure ask. Okay, so do you keep your options open for making money outside of what you're currently doing? If the answer is yes, say, great, I have something I want to show you. Show is the operable word here, because you're going to show them a video. You're not going to tell them the story. You're not going to explain it yourself. You're going to let the tools do the talking for you. So I have something I want to show you. It may or may not be a good fit. All right, that's the takeaway. That gives them an opportunity to say, okay, I'll check it out, knowing that you're not going to try to pressure them into getting started. And it'll only take you a few minutes to check it out. And I would also throw in now, and I haven't been saying this, but I would also throw in, and by the way, there's no cost whatsoever to get them to really take a look at it, right? Because a lot of people may have had a pitch from someone with a nutritional or skincare company, and the making extra money, but there's always a cost involved. And there's no cost whatsoever here with DAC. So if you ask those questions, are you open to making money outside what you're currently doing? Great. Well, I have something I'd like to show you. It may or may not be a good fit, and it'll only take you a few minutes. Oh, by the way, there's no cost to be involved whatsoever. Let them take a look at it, send them over to your partner page, let them watch the video and make a decision for themselves. It may not be a good fit, but in that viewing what we're doing, someone may come to mind and they may say, hey, this isn't for me, or I'm too busy, or it's a conflict of interest, but I know somebody that might be perfect for this. So you might get a referral in that process of asking, do you keep your options open, right? All right, so let's talk about perspective on clients. And back to what I said about feeling like you're bothering someone when you're calling, or if you've thought about doing cold calls, or if you've thought about taking pictures of the vehicles that you're driving down the road, or you see a billboard in your local community where you could snap a picture of it and then reach out to that company, right? Again, it's back to the perspective of, oh, I'm just going to be another person calling them, or they don't want to hear from me, or that business owner is too busy, they don't want to talk to me. Well, I know from business owner perspective, when I had my restaurants, yes, it can be cumbersome and annoying when you have salespeople that are constantly calling, but we don't teach you to be a sales rep when you're calling. We teach you to call and introduce yourself and offer a solution, right? So if your perspective is that you're being a bother and you're not delivering value, then that's what's preventing you from making the call. But if your perspective is, hey, I've got something great that I need to share with this business owner, back to what I said about the person in the big house that you think they've got it made, but they may be scraping by each month to make their mortgage payment. Same thing with that business owner. I remember so clearly, I had not one, but I owned 2 pizza restaurants, and everybody thought that I had it made because I owned 2 businesses. They thought that I was just rolling in the cash. And there were a lot of weeks I was that business owner that we hear about with DAC, where we're trying to change money around and get money into a payroll account and also be able to pay our vendors. So don't let looks deceive you, because what appears on the outside may not really be what's going on behind the walls of that business owner needs to hear what you have to say. I can't tell you how many times I've heard agents that have walked in and done the business drop cards and left them and walked away and said the business owner, when they introduced themselves and left the card behind, the business owner was very nonchalant about it, seemed disinterested. But later they got a call from that business because the business owner at the time had employees or customers around, and they didn't want to seem interested because they felt like that would be showing weakness to their clients or their employees. So you just never know. So change your perspective on whether we're a nuisance and whether we're trying to talk someone into doing a business to presenting something of great value to that potential business client and that potential business partner. So that's what I really wanted to touch on tonight is what's your perspective of our business opportunity and the services that we offer. So wow, we've got a lot of things going on in the chat there. Were there any questions? I think it's just comments earlier about the sound. And of course, Eugene welcoming his Renegades to the team and congratulating them for being on the leaderboard. Yes, good job. We've got a good turnout tonight. I appreciate you guys showing up, whether you're watching it live and participating live or whether you're watching on the replay. And Harlequin, I believe you've got something that you were wanting to say.
Well, the only question I saw in there was that somebody is looking for help in getting customers. Some suggestions.
Yeah. So I would say go back through video number 2 in the product training, because David not only talks about Bank Breezy and DAC funding, but he talks about the different reach out methods. And there's not a magic solution to this. Everything we teach works, and we teach the different reach out methods. Warm market is your best solution. Going through the warm market memory jogger that I have included in my fast start orientation. There's a link to that in your first email that you receive from me, your welcome letter, where I go through changing the way you think about money, your money perspective, right? And how you changing the way you think about earning money. And then I go through the memory jogger. So if you'll go through that and just create a list of everybody you know, don't prejudge them, create that list. Warm market is number 1. Using our drop cards, emails, doing social media. As you can see, Katina's on the leaderboard again. She's recruiting off of social media and using TikTok. And as she shared last week on her testimonial on our team Zoom, is that she's getting customers doing the same thing. So she has a niche that she created. She said that 3 months ago, before she started with DAC, she had how many? 5,000 followers, I believe. She was like at 5,000 followers. And now in the past 90 days, she's gotten up to 100,000 followers because she took what we have with DAC. She started marketing it heavily, doing videos and doing posts on a regular basis. And her fan base has grown tremendously. So it's just a matter of picking one of those methods that we teach and then building on whichever one of those that you feel like you have some experience in. I would start with that. What seems to be familiar to you, start with that and then build on it, get really, really good at that particular reach out method, and then expand your reach out methods and say, okay, I'm doing this now. Now I'm going to add this one in, and now I'm going to add this. But if you get in that business mindset, I know I'm constantly looking around and I see opportunities around me every single day, whether it's me driving down the highway and seeing a truck with a company name on the side of the truck and a phone number posted where I want to violate the law and take pictures as I'm driving. I don't, but I want to, and I'm going, I can't get my phone out and take that picture. But as I've talked before, I carry a voice recorder with me a lot of times in the car. So if I have my recorder, this is a golden nugget. If I have my recorder, even when I'm driving, I can make a voice note to myself and say, okay, I saw Sampson and Sons plumbing company on 285 at 75, phone number, blah, blah, blah. Right. And I make a note of that. That way, when I get back home, or when I get to a stopping point, I can call and introduce myself. Hey, are you the owner? Great. I just wanted to reach out and introduce myself. I saw your truck today as I was driving down 75 just north of Atlanta. And I just wanted to reach out and introduce myself. I'm in small business funding, and we love helping plumbing businesses like yours get working capital if you can't get funding from your local bank or from the SBA. And if you ever find yourself in an opportunity to expand or grow or just in tight pinch, I would love for you to hold on to my number. So I'll be your go-to for funding in the future. I live here in the local area. And again, I just wanted to introduce myself. That type of presentation that David and Wade teach, it works, but it only works if you're willing to get out of your comfort zone and start having those conversations with strangers, because a stranger is only a stranger until you get to know who they are. And then you got a new friend that you're working on. So anything there in the comments that you see, Harlequin, or anything you want to add to it? I'm gonna see if I've got anybody with hands up. At this point, if you guys have questions or comments that you'd like to make, go down to the virtual hand raise at the bottom of your screen. You can raise your hand and we'll take questions, whatever you might have. One thing I didn't cover is that we announced it Friday and covered again today on the leadership Zoom about our lines of credit, which is a new product launch that is coming. David will be sending out our links and how that's going to work, but a brief overview. And then there'll be a detailed training on this. Okay. But the brief overview is that we're going to have lines of credit available for existing DAC funding clients. Okay. Not new clients. They've got to be existing clients. We're going to have lines of credit available from $5,000 up to $100,000. Okay. So for them to qualify, they got to be in business for 2 years. They got to have a 550 or better credit score, and they have to be doing $15,000 a month in revenue. And then they'll be able to get qualified based on what their revenue is. Our lenders are going to look at the same parameters. In fact, they're going to need the same documentation that we're currently submitting for DAC funding. Again, just a brief snapshot of what is to come. Matthew Duhame had a submission. He reached out to a client. He reached out to 3 clients. 2 of them lived in New Jersey, so they were excluded because there are 7 states, I believe, that we cannot do the lines of credit in. David covered those today, and Harlequin's pulling out her notes here. State of California, New Jersey, Rhode Island, Nevada, Vermont, and Montana. So that's 6, right? 6 states that we cannot do the line of credit offering because of their state laws. But we should be getting that link soon. It won't be just a link off of our website because, again, it's only for existing customers now. Somewhere in the near future, we will see that offering go into new customers. But I'm super excited to have that as another funding method for our clients because it's going to give them a better rate than our current funding, and it's going to give them the ability to pay off some funding that they already have out there. Right now, we cannot fund a second position in most cases, but this, even if they've got a couple of loans out there, they'll be able to qualify for the lines of credit. So looking forward to that coming on live. Listen out, more to come on when we will be doing a live training on that. So I'm going to go to questions right now. We have Dewey. I'm going to ask you to unmute. What do you have for us tonight? I see you've been very active on YouTube and catching up on videos, Dewey. What do you have? Can you unmute yourself?
Can you hear me?
Dewey, can you unmute? There you are.
Okay.
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. How you doing?
I'm not hearing you.
Oh,
Make
wait
sure
a
you
minute.
hit the unmute.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Let's start all over. Harlequin just reminded, I muted my computer so we weren't getting feedback.
Oh, okay.
So start over.
Okay, how you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm great. Yeah, it's okay that we could, if I could go to different, like, companies, like, when I go out and about and I go step at different businesses and walk in and talk to the owners like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Using our drop cards.
Okay.
Those are available. You can order those through the Agent Resource Center under miscellaneous tools. We have that under our marketing section. The drop cards really, really work well. They're a mini billboard of what we're offering. So yeah, you can do that all day long, Dewey.
Okay, and of course, social media, like networking.
Yep, every bit of it. Every
That's
bit
good.
of it
Okay.
works. Yeah. That it? That was your question?
Yes.
All right, awesome. Well, thanks for asking that. Good to see you on camera tonight.
Yeah, that's about time. I've been busy a little bit.
Awesome. Well, good to see you. I'm going to mute you, and I've got another question coming in from Cheryl Henderson, I believe. Is that you, Cheryl?
It's me. It's
How are you
me.
doing tonight?
Hi.
How are you doing tonight?
I'm good, Ellen. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you.
Listen, I remember it could have been last week or so, whenever you was talking about the title that we can use. You know, it's different within each state. You know, I'm using business capital agent. Is that okay for Alabama?
It is. And the only, if you're talking about recruiting or our funding product, okay, we want to stay away from the word loan, right? Because we don't really offer true loans in most cases. And in the state of California, it is illegal for us to market loans unless we are licensed to market loans. So as an independent agent, you want to stay away from that word, whether you're talking about being an independent loan broker. I wouldn't say loan.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, Harlequin just muted me. She didn't like what I was saying. Yeah, so back to, I think I was just saying that California is where we would get into hot water. So we stay away from the word loan. So do funding specialist or business funding broker, business capital specialist, those words. But yeah, stay away from loan and you'll be safe talking about the opportunity as well as our funding products.
Okay, because I tried to be in line with the flyer that you guys have, and I think it reads business capital agent. So,
There you go. That's perfect.
okay. Thank you.
You'll be safe. Thanks for the question. I'm sure many others had that same thought. All right, I'm going to mute you and lower your hand, and let's go to Richard. I'm going to ask you to unmute. How are you doing tonight, Richard?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you. Good to see you on camera.
Yes, I'm new to this. I haven't really dove in yet. I'm kind of busy with some of the other things that I'm doing. I market myself as a financial solutions consultant.
I see that on your hat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I market a couple different products, and the question I had was I had someone reach out to me through Alignable. They're looking for funding for CBD businesses. Is there any issues with that?
Now we can fund CBD. We have an
Okay.
issue when it comes to trying to do payment processing with CBD, just because it is, there are different states have different laws and how they're handling CBD and hemp and all that. So we can't do payment processing, but we can do funding. So yeah,
Okay.
go ahead and submit them. Now, remember, whatever the industry is, they're going to fall into the revenue requirement. So whatever their current monthly revenue is, if they're doing 15,000 or more a month, they're going to qualify for 1 to 2 times what their current revenue is. So if they're doing 20 grand a month, they'll qualify between 20 and 40 typically. Sometimes they don't if they've got low account balances and all of that. If you've not seen the training that I sent out by email and that I clipped and posted on my YouTube channel that Wade did last Tuesday night on the 1st, where he went over all of what the banks are looking for when they're looking at the bank statements and everything. It was a great training. So you can kind of look at that and get a gauge for how much money a lender is going to offer to your client as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And since you're in the financial space, I want to touch real quickly on something I covered a couple of weeks ago. Not to you specifically, Richard, but just in general. I know we have a lot of agents who market other financial products in addition to DAC. And what I see typically is that agents come on board with DAC because we are their low credit score option for their clients, right? But when you get into this alternative capital space where you've got business owners that can't get a traditional loan through the bank, or they don't have time to wait for it, or they can't get qualified for an SBA loan, or they don't have time to wait for it, then we, I believe, are hands down the best solution, because our model, where we're one of the largest funding platforms in North America, we truly bring that client package in. And these are for the 15,000 and up deals. If they're going through Bank Breezy, if they're less than 15,000, send them to Bank Breezy. That's their only option to get funding through us. But if you've got a client doing 15,000 or more, 100% of the time, send them through the DAC funding business capital tab of your David Allen Capital website, because that package is going to come in and our internal team is going to go through it with a fine-tooth comb. And then we're going to take that package and we're going to send it out to all of our lending partners, which we have 17 in-house partners, right? But it could go to more than those 17 in-house preferred partners. So one package, we do one soft credit pull on that client's package, and then it's going to go out to multiple lenders. When other companies are looking, typically each company is going to do a pull on the credit, which can hurt the customer's credit file. Ours doesn't work that way. We're going to get the best offer. All of our lenders know that they're competing with our other lenders, so they're going to even give a better offer through us than they would give if the client came directly to them. So I would say if any of you are marketing with other companies, use DAC as the first opportunity. And then if we just cannot get them an offer, then submit it to someone else. And a lot of times those agents are looking at us and go, well, I make more money if I send it out somewhere else. Okay, so let me tell you that pay plan real quick. Your first deal with DAC, you're only going to earn 3%. That's our standard compensation plan. But if you bring business to the table and you bring a new funded deal every 30 days, a minimum of one new client every 30 days, your second client, you're going to earn 6.6% on that second funding. And then your third funding, you're going to earn 6.9% on that funding and forward until you have had 4 clients under your belt and a total funded value, all cumulative, of $40,000. Once you hit that, that takes you to DAC 4 in our compensation plan, and you're earning 7.8% of the funded amount of every client that you bring forth from that day forward, unless you build a team. And then if you start building a team, you can earn more, and you can earn a 50% match on the agent's income or their revenue that they generate too. So 7.8% of funding for just getting a few clients in your portfolio there is a really significant pay plan here for us. So thank you, Richard. I appreciate your comment and your question. And did you have anything else?
No, actually, you're the only funding I do.
Awesome.
The other financial services I provide are a debt elimination software, and I provide specialty CPA services
Awesome.
with other CPAs that I'm partnered with.
Awesome. Well, thank you. And as I said, that wasn't pointed at you. It just kind of brought it to
No, I
mind
understand.
on the financial side there. So
Sure.
thank you again. Glad to have you on board with us.
And
Okay.
actually, if I can add to that, I'm not going to be on screen, but
Yeah.
the other big thing is with DAC, you don't have to do all the paperwork, which I do SBA loans, and I can tell you there is a ton of paperwork, and you don't get paid nearly as much, although the dollar amounts are higher. But yeah, that's another benefit to using DAC rather than going through another company. You don't have to collect all the documentation.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Thanks for that input there. I have Michaela. Is that right? Michaela, I'm going to ask you to unmute. Did I say your name correctly?
Try again.
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. How are you doing tonight?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you. What do
I
you have?
apologize for my camera not coming up. I found out before this, it broke. So I apologize.
No worries.
Well, I just lost my train of thought. But the other thing that I was wondering was, I know like a little small coffee shop, and they're starting to expand. Like they have one place downtown where I live, and they started expanding into the hospital. where like if you're at the hospital, you have a coffee shop there, you know, you visit and stuff like that. Is that a good investment to go towards them and ask them?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Again, back to perspective, right? If your perspective is that you're here to genuinely help the business owner community, your role is to simply inform them and let them know that you exist and that you have funding available for them. That little coffee shop may qualify for funding through their bank. However, I highly doubt it unless they've been in business for at least 2 years and are doing 250,000 a year. I doubt that they qualify for traditional funding. So you coming along and sharing that you're a funding specialist with David Allen Capital, and we specialize in business funding for small businesses like them, you might be the salvation that they're looking for, because as they're wanting to expand, all you do is present it, and then that business owner looks at the offer that we make them, and they need to do the math and determine if the cost of the funds is worth the return on the investment in the long run for them. So yeah, I would say go for it.
And another question, with this being loans, does this go towards credit, building people's businesses, like the owner's credit as well?
No, it does not. Good question. Really good question. So we're going to use the owner's FICO score to get them approved. And you use the word loan. I want to break you from that habit, because it's not a real loan. It's funding, right?
Funding.
In most cases, it's going to be an advance. We do have a few lenders that it is an actual loan, but all in all, if you'll say funding or working
Funding.
capital, you're going to be safe using that terminology. Okay. But the owner's credit score, FICO score, is used to get them qualified, but we're not helping build their credit. We don't report to the credit bureaus. We don't report to the business credit bureaus, but we are helping them build credit within our network of lenders. So someone comes in, they borrow money from us. If they need money in the future, or they need what we call add-on funding, additional money before they've completely paid off their existing funding, then they're building credit within our network and showing that they are credit worthy as a business and business owner. So it helps them get more money faster in the future when they need that. So that's how that's going to work, but it does not report to any bureaus. But great question. Anything else, Michaela?
Not that I'm aware of. I appreciate you answering my questions, and I'm definitely gonna break my habit of the loan part, funding.
There you go.
Thank you so much.
All right. And get that camera working so we can see you next week.
I definitely will. I definitely will.
All right. Thanks much. Appreciate the question. All right. And I have Olufemi. I'm going to ask you to unmute. Did I say that correctly? I can see you. I can't hear you. Can you unmute yourself? Let me ask you to unmute.
Good evening.
There, now I can hear you. How you doing tonight?
Yeah, I'm okay. And you?
I'm good, thank you. Did I say your name correctly, Olufemi?
Yeah, you got it.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask, while you were talking, you mentioned that for New Jersey, we cannot sell the line of credit products.
Correct.
So I wanted to ask, just to be safe, is there, apart from the line of credit, is there any other product that we cannot like market in New Jersey?
Now you're wide open with everything that, and that line of credit, remember, that's not on our sites yet. It is coming, and we should have a training on that this week and some links that we can send to existing customers only. It's not open for new business. But yeah, that's the only product that there is any restriction on at this time with our entire lineup is those 6 states with the line of credit offering. And those are their state rules. Yep. Thanks for clarifying that. You're welcome. Good question.
Yeah, and you can actually market it to businesses outside of your state. So you just can't market it to your local businesses.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's important. Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
Go to New York.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
Thanks for pointing that out, Harlequin. All right. I have Stefan has his hand up. Hey, Stefan. Good to talk to you again. He and I talked on the phone this afternoon. What you got for me?
Yeah, I just want to be clear. I'm sorry being repetitive. So that soft pull does not turn into a hard pull ultimately.
It could. Good question. It could, but we will never do a hard credit pull without letting the client know ahead of time. So expect that we're only going to do a soft pull unless our lenders are in process. We've done the soft pull, we've gotten all of their paperwork, and that's the only time that it could turn into a hard pull is after the client has submitted the one-page application, 3 months bank statement, a copy of their driver's license, a copy of their boarded check, and we are in process of getting quotes. We may have a lender that says, okay, I like this package and I want to make an offer, but before we're willing to fund this, we're going to do a hard credit pull. That would be the exception. And we will always, always, always let the client know before that hard pull takes place. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, good question. Any other questions?
Yeah. What exactly is an NSF? I know that may hurt the client.
Yeah, insufficient funds or they're bouncing checks, right? So if they have had more than, is it 5 NSFs in the past 30 days?
Yeah, or 5 negative balances on their, at the end of the day in their bank balance.
Yeah, they won't get funding. And I just had a client apply the other day. Based on my conversation with him, everything sounded like it was going to be moving forward. And then I got notification back from our lending team that they could not fund him because he had a negative balance in his month end statement. So when you're talking to clients and they're needing money, that's a good question to add to your questions that you ask in the conversation with that business owner. How long have you been in business? How much revenue are you generating? Are you operating as a LLC or a business entity using an EIN number, or do you operate through your social security number? Are you operating through a business checking account or your personal account? I give them the options so that they understand my question. And then, when you're getting to that, if they meet all the minimum qualifications, go into that next stage and say, yeah, you want to make sure you're not bouncing too many checks. Have you had bounce checks? Have you this? And you do have a positive balance in your account, right? Because they will not do a funding, even if a business qualifies with flying colors with all of the minimum requirements. If they are negative in their account the day they go to fund, they will not do the funding. So good question. All right. Any other questions there, Stefan?
Yeah, real quick. What exactly is the difference between the regular funding and the line of credit?
Oh, it's a big difference. So the funding is whatever they get approved for, they get it in their account same day or next day. They're getting that money and they're paying a set payback on it. A line of credit is going to give them access to, say, $50,000, but all they're required to take is $1,000 to get that line of credit started. So they could take the $1,000 to get it started and still have another $49,000 that's available to them when they need it, but they don't start paying on it until they draw on it. With our money, they take whatever they get funded, they start paying back the next day, and it's immediate payback because they've already gotten the money. So that's the big difference between the two. Plus the line of credit is going to be lower rates, and they're going to have different options presented to them when they qualify for that. So more to come on that as we go into training. I don't want to misstate anything, but I did know the answer to that question. So we'll wait and have all the details on the line of credit as they go through and have more specifics. Because actually what David announced and covered today was a little bit different than what he announced on Friday. We had some, like the 6 states that we can't market in came to light today. So there'll be more to come. Okay.
Well, the other good one was it went from 50,000 to 100,000.
Yeah,
So
that's
awesome.
He was capping it at 55 on Friday, so that's good. All right. Did that get all your questions, Stefan?
Thank you very much. Yes, thank you.
All right, awesome. Thanks for the question. Good to see you. All right, I'm gonna lower your hand, and we have Cheryl back up with a hand raised. Did I not lower your hand earlier? Did you have another question, Cheryl?
No, I have another question.
Okay.
Listen, where do we go to like if I want to use the travel product, where do we go as agents to utilize that? I mean, because we're not going to use our link, are we?
No, our travel, you just go to dactravel.com, and that is our login page. So it gives you access to a wholesale travel program, and it's
Okay.
only available to you as an agent. So you can't market it to friends or family or anybody else. However, if you do have someone that's planning a trip and they want to use that, you could sign them up as an agent, and then they would have that free discount travel portal as well. But it's dactravel.com. You log in with your agent ID and password, just like you use to get into the Longevity DAC back office.
So I shouldn't be marketing that link.
No, you should not. Have you been doing that?
Yes, it's on my.
Well, you can market it as a perk of becoming a DAC agent. That's how I want to market it.
Okay. Is there anything else I shouldn't be marketing?
I have no idea. It looks like we need to go over your marketing material and see what you're promoting.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I appreciate your enthusiasm and excitement, and I'm glad you asked that question. So we know that that's an internal consumption product only. So.
Okay.
right.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for your question. All right. And I have Kenyatta up. Kenyatta, I'm going to ask you to unmute.
Thank you so much. How are you this evening, Ellen?
I'm good. How are you doing? Did I say your name correctly?
You did. You did.
Awesome.
Thank you. So I want to try to keep this really, really short for the other participants in the room. I have a potential client whose overall score averages about 780, Ellen. He has his articles of incorporation. He has 3 separate LLCs. He checks off on his EIN. He doesn't check off on business tax returns. He recently acquired some property from 2020. So he only has personal taxes. He has a W-2, his bank statements, all of that I'm okay with. He's wanting to know how can he try to get these fundings, because to me, there's no reason why he would not get funding, right? That's really not my angle with him. He's wanting to have this established under his business name that he fully has not structured yet. I know that just because this is what I do in my day-to-day, but I also know that it's not that it's impossible that it could not go under his EIN. Ellen, he generates about $30,000 to $35,000 a month, and he's proven that. So of course, purposefully, he wants this to be, and I know you've already indicated there's no reporting, but it will still show for other onlookers or lenders, if you will, for financial monies later on down the line. If this is showing on his Dun & Bradstreet, that he may get potential investors long-term. How can these amount of monies, when he would get approved, show up? How can he get that under his business EIN and not under his personal Social Security?
So one, we talked about Dun & Bradstreet. We do not report to Dun & Bradstreet. So we're not going to help him build his business credit.
Right. I understand that. Yes.
Yeah. The only way we're going to help him build business credit is within our lender network. Okay. So if he meets the requirements of, since he's doing 30,000 a month, if he's got 3 months bank statements and driver's license and a business checking account that is 3 months of business checking account balance that shows that he's doing that type of revenue, he does not have to have an EIN. He can get qualified as a sole proprietor using his Social Security number.
Yeah, thank you. And that's the part that, he was essentially wanting to steer away from, because I completely believe towards the end of that process, he would take a hit on his personal credit, which I've already advised.
No, it won't. It won't.
Okay.
No, he can get qualified for the business funding. We will take his business revenue, his business checking account, but as the owner, he does not have to be operating through an EIN, and it does not have to be an LLC in that name. He just has to have the business name on the checking account. Okay.
Got you.
So it doesn't have to be set up as an LLC. His Social Security number they'll accept that and show that he is a sole proprietor, even if he doesn't have the tax returns. Tax returns really only come into play if they're looking for $150,000 or more. And if he's
And
doing
he is.
30,000, I'm sorry.
And he is.
And how much is his monthly revenue?
It's averaging about 31, between 31 and 33.
Okay, so if he's doing 30, let's say 31, then our standard offer would be 1 to 2 times what his revenue is. So he would qualify typically for 31 to 62,000 one time, or double it to 62. So he wouldn't qualify for the full amount that he's looking for. But when I have someone that's looking for more money than we can qualify them for, I always ask them, if you could get this to start with, would this help you? Because a lot of times, as we talk about building credit within our lender network, a lot of times they can go ahead and take part of the money that they need and put that to work. And then after they've paid down half of what they just borrowed, they're eligible to get more funding. And over that period of time, potentially their revenue has increased significantly because they've used those first funds wisely and grown their revenue base, and then they're able to get a higher amount in the future. So I always offer that as a suggestion for them to consider when we can't get them that full amount to start with.
Thank you for that, Ellen. And one last question on the free discount cards that we have as agents, that we're the unlimited pharmacy card.
Yeah.
So where does that show up in our dash? Does that show up in our back office dashboard on any usage or proceeds that we would get from that, commissions from that?
Yeah, it will. And it takes a lot of volume to pay out, but David has shared that there are some reps on the longevity side of the business that have been promoting those and making a significant residual. Harlequin, do you remember what the BV value is on those cards?
You get 50 cents per prescription. And I believe I can't remember what the BV is. I think it's only like 5 or something like that. It's not very much. I can look that up.
The 50 cents is correct. And you can go to the compensation plan chart that's posted there under video number 3 in the Agent Resource Center. And it shows the discount pharmacy card and what the value is on that. But yes, it would get posted in your back office after the 15th of the month. That's when longevity posts residuals and that type of commission. That compensation chart is also going to show you the pay cycle on it, and it'll show you when the BV and QV gets posted and when it gets paid out. So it's in detail. Harlequin has just pulled that up.
Yeah, you get 3 QV and $3 of BV per prescription. And then it's 17% of the BV, which I believe works out to be 50 cents.
And it gets paid out the second Monday after it gets uploaded.
Right.
Yeah.
It's uploaded the end of the next month following usage. So if somebody were to get a prescription this month, it's going to be uploaded in the end of March. And then you'll get paid the second Monday after that.
Right.
So there's a little bit of a delay to it, but.
Yep. And it would
It
take a
adds up.
large customer base, but as I said, David has talked about some people that are making a significant residual income off of that prescription card. So,
Thank you. I appreciate
You're
you
welcome.
answering my questions. I yield back.
absolutely. Thanks, Kenyatta. I appreciate your questions. Good to see you. All right. And I'm going to lower your hand, and we have Jesse. I'm going to ask you to unmute.
Hey, Ellen.
Hey, Jesse.
Hey, guys. So I had 2 questions, primarily in regards to the business lines of credit. My first question is California a restricted state on business lines of credit?
It is. As is, we can't use the word loan in California, so that's why we want to steer clear from the word loan everywhere we market. But yeah, California is going to be restricted, and we won't be able to do the lines of credit there.
Okay, and my second question is, are there any plans of actually opening that up to new clients?
Yeah, somewhere in the near future. David said he didn't want to put a date on it because it may come sooner and it may come later than his projected date. He has a date in their business plan. He and Wade have a date in mind, but he doesn't want to announce that. But yes, somewhere down the road, we will be offering lines of credit to new customers. But right now, if they're not an existing funding client, they can qualify for funding, and immediately after they get funding, we're going to be able to offer the lines of credit to them. So that'll be
Okay.
a really good add-on for them.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Questions? Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for the questions. All right, let's see. I think that was the last hand up. Anybody else before we wrap up? Harlequin, was there anything that I missed that you would like to touch on? Oh, I see Cindy's got her hand up now. Hang on, let me ask you to unmute. Thanks for waving there. I saw your literal hand up in the way.
Hi, Alan. Thank you for having me on. You and Harlequin
Absolutely.
do a great job, and everyone asks great questions. And I hope I didn't forget mine. But anyway, I know that you just mentioned that David said that if we acquire a DAC client and they get approved, the next day, Wade told on Friday that we can extend the line of credit when it is in, being offered, which it's not right now. But because they require the same, like 3 months of bank statements and all that, do they use what they submitted for the DAC loan for the line of
Yeah,
credit because
they
it's the next
will.
day?
In fact, I think we're going to have a application that is tweaked a little bit from what we currently have, but they'll be able to take exactly what we have now and use that for the lines of credit. But remember, they're going to have 2 years in business. They're going to have to be doing 15,000 a month in revenue to qualify for the lines of credit. So that's going to limit the businesses that will be eligible in the first place because of their time in business
Right.
and monthly revenue, and then a 550 credit score. So yeah.
Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
that is. All right, good questions.
And
Thanks
I'm
for
really
being-
happy that I figured out how to unmute myself. I'm not I repel technology, so.
Well, you did great, and you made it on camera too. Woohoo! Way to
No, by
go.
myself without my daughter helping me. I'm moving and grooving here. But
I
anyway, you guys
love it.
take it easy, okay? Thank
All
you.
right, you too. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Oh, my pleasure.
All right, guys. We're gonna wrap up here. If we don't have any more questions, I don't see anybody else waving their hand like Cindy was. So thanks for showing up tonight, Harlequin. One time back to you before we close out. Did I miss
Yeah,
anything?
I think so. There was someone who had
A question
a
over there?
question, but it's specific to a client. So
And someone,
yeah.
I noticed someone
okay.
says, what is Brad or Wade?
Yeah, that was me.
Okay,
That was a private message to
Okay.
them.
I thought it was the
That
new
was-
agent asking,
okay.
who is Brad and Wade, or who are they?
No.
Okay.
I've got that question. I've got that person's phone number, so
Okay.
I will give you a call later and we can work it out.
Okay, so we're good to go then?
I think so.
All
I'm
right.
gonna send them my number.
Awesome, guys. Well, thanks again for being here. Good turnout tonight. Y'all continue promoting. The more you promote our team Zooms and the more people on your team that start coming to these Zooms, the more informed everybody is. We'll create that synergy working together and being able to see and hear from other agents. It's really powerful as you're trying to grow a business. And, questions came up tonight that we don't always get. So I appreciate all of your input. Most importantly, you being here, sharing this with your team, and whether you're here live or on the replay, I look forward to seeing you on the next Zoom. Take care, everybody. Have a blessed evening. Good night.